In the 1990s, like many inner-city communities and neighborhoods around the country, the Prospect Avenue community in Charlottesville, Virginia, was plagued and ravaged by the drug epidemic. Fortuitously, however, community members set about to effect radical positive change in the Prospect Avenue community.
In 1994, Trinity Presbyterian Church held a congregational meeting. And at that meeting, one of the signature initiatives that was sort of articulated as part of the hoped-for long-term future of Trinity was that we would establish a partnership with a neighborhood in the city with the aim of establishing a Christian community development work and potentially planting a multi-ethnic church. So I approached our senior pastor at the time, a man named John Hall, and essentially said, here's this description in the vision. I would like to give a day a week to become volunteer staff at the church to help lead and help make this happen. There was a group of us, including Rebecca Feldman, that formed a committee called the Urban Ministry Team. And we sought to discern, well, which city neighborhood in Charlottesville might we seek that partnership with?
What got my attention about Abundant Life was that I had come to the Lord in college at UVA, and I had started having my eyes more and more open to racism, oppression, just the history that I maybe didn't know. And I began to visit a lot of historically African American neighborhoods and see for myself the contrast and what people were going through. And I more and more began to feel this call towards urban work.
I've worked on 5 community health needs assessments in my career, and I believe it was the one in 2019 where we were able to show the difference in life expectancy was up to 14 years, depending on where you lived. It really brought about questions of justice and fairness. My grandchildren deserve to live as long as other people's grandchildren. And where you saw these pockets were in communities of color.
From the beginning, I felt that the Lord was beginning to sort of shift my focus from sort of how can Christians be effectively involved in fighting poverty abroad to what are the best models for addressing poverty and injustice in our own country. Through a variety of conversations and research, we had sort of narrowed it down to 2 different neighborhoods, one of which was the Prospect Avenue community.
The need is here than in other neighborhoods because it's a lack of resources. Other neighborhoods have more resources than the families and the kids that are in this neighborhood. And there's somebody needs to speak up for them. When you have a neighborhood where half the kids go to one elementary school and another half go to a different one, what are you saying? You know, the people don't have a voice. And that's unfair. If it was predominantly white, if it had more resources, more money, they wouldn't have thought to split a neighborhood that way. And so Abundant Life is, you know, it's working with the kids and the families, you know, to change the outcomes.
had the sense, and others did as well, I think, that it needed to be a work that was truly non-paternalistic, that was actually a partnership, not a big white church waltzing in on a big white horse, announcing that we were there to save the day and bring all the answers and all of that. So I went into that community and met with a woman named Mrs. Lula Rogers. And Mrs. Lula Rogers was essentially the matriarch of that community. She had moved in to Oak Ridge Gardens when it was first opened. So she was literally one of the very first residents there. She was a former president of the neighborhood association. She was a woman who had been highly involved in the city schools as a teacher aide and was just much beloved by the families, and particularly the children in that community, and was very, very active there for many, many, many years.
After they decided to work with this particular neighborhood in Charlottesville, Trinity Presbyterian Church did a survey to find out what the parents wanted. And the results of that survey said the parents wanted a tutoring program for the children.
And Mrs. Lula Rogers told me that she was very concerned about challenges that were facing her neighborhood, one of which was the rise in drug violence, and how she was so sorrowful that about 2 years before I was having this conversation with her, there had been a terrible tragedy in which a 2-year-old child was killed by a stray bullet between sort of two rival drug groups. And from that moment, Mrs. Rogers began seeking the Lord and asking Him to bring her help.
That's how we make a difference. We look to not just our kids, but we look to our families, and we want our families to lead the way. When families lead the way, the community can lead the way.
So she felt like me showing up and saying our church has a desire to partner somewhere in a city neighborhood, for her was very much an answer to prayer. But the way that she said it, which was just classic and wonderful, was, well, Amy, I have been praying for the Lord to send me some brothers and sisters for the past 2 years. And I never expected a big white church, but I'll take what I can get.
Well, initially, when I first started and things were just getting going, I used to say, I don't know whether I'm accomplishing anything, but this is where God wants me to be. So I wrote lesson plans specifically for reading, and I would think about the tutor and the child when I wrote the plans.
There are people who want to work alongside the neighborhood and raise it up to bring positive things into sometimes difficult situations and support them in any way that they can.
We had one person from the neighborhood and one person from Trinity that would pair up, and we went house to house. We went apartment to apartment and talked about this partnership, talked about this idea of working together.
So I wanted to live in the community for years, but I knew I was single, I was white, and there weren't many people doing that. And I had some youth tell me, please don't do that, Miss Rebecca. Please don't do that. So by 2002, I did move into the community, and I saw the Lord bless so many things about it. It was so important to be part of the community. I could see families informally. They could come and visit me. We could hang out in my front yard. We could share heartaches and laughter and meals and 911 phone calls. I mean, I could get down on the floor and call and say they are shooting outside of my townhome and I'm really scared. So it put another level of friendship and commitment and sharing life. Yes.
When I first started at Abundant Life, there were a lot of shootings in that neighborhood. I think it made a big difference to the neighborhood to have Abundant Life there.
Since Abundant Life been in this neighborhood, I sense that the youth have been impacted because the ability of learning and getting educated, other than running around thinking that they have to fight and use dangerous things to solve a problem.
The most valuable thing I learned while I was at Abundant Life was definitely peer mediation, how to, work through problems and not go to violent situations, and how to, talk through things and understanding that we all going through something. And, the best way to deal with things is to talk about it and to do it together.
When I connect with the children in the neighborhood, it's really special. It's really something that just brings out the best, hopefully, ideally in them, but also in me, because you make this connection.
When I work with the kids at the middle school in the Prospect area, one thing I feel is a great amount of just humility and joy to be able to work with these kids.
And because it's so important that, they know that you care. I think it's an old saying that goes that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
It brings a great amount of joy to my life to be able to go in there and get to know these kids and be a constant in their life.
Abundant Life was a support system for me, and it gave me direction, and being impressed about the fact, first time I ever seen we got all these people in our neighborhood that want to make a difference and see our neighborhood a better place.
It feels kind of special to be able to connect well with the youth in the community. And I say that because it took a lot of effort to get there. I think from my time being here, I've been here 3 years now, it was a hard road getting to know the youth and getting them to connect well with me, to trust me. But I think me showing consistency and being there for the kids in a lot of areas of life, not just in tutoring, allowed me to connect well with them. And now I have trust built within families and within students.
So when I'm connecting with youth in this neighborhood, it's really exciting and challenging. They are so precious and so open once you get there, and they need to know that they are a gift, just being exactly who they are.
So when I come to Abundant Life, it makes me feel so good. I liked tutoring because Santi is there, and he helps me a lot. He makes me laugh.
So when I come to Abundant Life, I become more happier because I get to learn and play soccer and eat, play with my friends during the time.
And I also like the field trips at summer camp.
When I come to Abundant Life, it makes me very, 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 very happy.
And then you talk about God took that punch for he said you're gonna knock on off your block. And God took that punch. And God is the one that gave all of us everything.
To me, Abundant Life is a necessity in low-income communities. A necessity into teaching kids and adults and how to be leaders and how to work together and how to grow as a community and how to become better as a community and how to grow with other communities and become better people.
From the beginning, whatever it was that we were supposed to do in partnership with this community, it was to be holistic. It was to be about the whole person, the spiritual, the relational, the economic, the academic.
The tutoring program was started by Trinity Presbyterian Church. We moved the tutoring program into Johnson School itself and have a wonderful collaboration with Johnson now. And we're still functioning after school in the teachers' classrooms.
I think one of the things that I was really drawn to is the fact that it's a community-based ministry and it's located in the community that allowed me to realize, wow, Faith, this is a lot bigger than yourself. This isn't just Monday or Tuesday, Monday through Friday. It's 28 years of Monday through Friday, 28 years of prayer, of intercession, of tutoring, of fostering relationships.
And my favorite moments are when suddenly a first grader will sort of look at their tutor and go, I can read. I can figure this out. I can actually read myself, because a lot of children start out not believing that they can. And that's the moment when they take off.
Even though Abundant Life is Christian-based, a lot of the organizations that we partnership might not be. We do have a heavy support from the church community, and we can't do everything. There are other organizations that come in on the healthcare side, like UVA Health, and then you have organizations that can help with jobs, like PBCC Network to Work. And now we're doing a little bit of that with our V-Trades program as well.
When we were looking for a location to set up a community health station in Fifeville and bringing health services to people where they are, the Abundant Life House really offered a known gathering place for people in the community. And Eddie Howard said, come on in. And he welcomed us. He gave us full access to the building. And so we've continued to set up there on a bi-monthly basis for about a year.
That's people in the community wanting to see a better community and a better life for not just themselves, but the people around them.
Back in 1999, I became a volunteer with Abundant Life. It was during my first year at UVA. Me and Eddie formed a relationship at that time, and he became a mentor of mine and told me about the program that he had in Prospect at the time, and told me, come by and say something to the kids. And after that first time, I kind of went and kept going. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to be there, but what I did do when I was there, I would come and just, show them that, just helping them see that you can be prosperous, you can succeed, especially from an area like that.
As a participant, what drew me into Abundant Life wasn't so much the place, but the people. The mentors and tutors that I had, individuals that came from the community, folks that came from afar, that were called to Abundant Life. They were people that emulated a lot of values and principles that resonated with me and drew me to Abundant Life.
I seen my face in these little kids, that somebody took the time to take, to help me out. And so that's what I wanted to give back. It's been amazing being involved and to see where they come from.
It's not about where you start and it's not about where you finish, but it's about the journey and about growing along the journey and, the relationships you build and make with people along that journey. And say that helps make that journey worthwhile and the memories worthwhile.
The experience, both as a participant and as an employee, were very empowering, very motivating. But it was mostly a time of kind of reconstruction, a time of repair, a time of growth.
Kids come back as adults who have said thank you for what we've done at Abundant Life. I think maybe they realize that people care for them.
In my mind, Abundant Life's impact in the community is all about changing lives through its leadership development programs, through home ownership. That's amazing. You look at 100% graduation rates. And I just believe that they're continuing to build on the good work they've done for 20 plus years and increasing the impact they're having in that community.
Abundant Life's impact has really been felt in just about every arena there is, educationally in schools, in people's homes, financially.
Abundant Life has helped my family over the years with, a few things, because they helped me out with when it was a hard time for my wife and I with bills that we had to pay. They help us out with a lot of my grandkids and toys that we receive from them. We get the nutrition food on Tuesday. They will bring it to our home. We don't have to get out and get over there when it's bad weather. They've been a great deal to my wife and I.
I just think the relationships are what have really mattered. People have lived their lives together and opened their homes together. And I also think being geographically focused has been just such a blessing, because you're saying, we're here for this community.
The basis of the program has always been to create relationships. That sort of legacy of trying to raise everyone up, of honoring everyone.
After 28 years, Abundant Life should be known for the impact that it has on the community, because we're building leaders in low-income neighborhoods who didn't have them before.
I hope that they continue to give light where there's not a lot of light, and hopefully continue to to try to bring that faith with it. But the opportunity for kids and that small dim of light was what I had. And they've been doing a great job with it. I hope that, it grows even bigger.
Abundant Life has stuck around for so long by the grace of God and the prayers of the saints. That's what I really believe.
And the fundamental faith that underpins all of the actions of the people who work for Abundant Life, I think, helps stabilize the whole program.
I see the legacy of Abundant Life of changing the narrative of ministry in the city of Charlottesville altogether.
I hope someday the legacy will be that there's a center on Prospect Avenue that has all kinds of activities and support programs to help families, again, in the name of the Lord, that will thrive and be there for years and years to come.
As we follow Jesus in his kingdom work to love our neighbor, he's wanting to do something in us, not just he's wanting to do something in them. He is inviting us into this relationship of mutuality through which, as we together jointly pursue the will of God in the beauty of his kingdom, we will both be transformed.
Abundant Life will always breathe life in my community. It will always be that candle up on the hill to say there's hope and there's a way out.
You lost it down death, crushed the devil's head. Fear is just a lie.